Hello, it's me again. I thought I would take some time to get you started on these problems for the last part of our math fraction review. So if we take a look at number 9, Mrs. Kinney, Mrs. Kinney's class recorded the amount of rain each day. On Monday, it rained 6/8 inch. On Tuesday, it rained 1 5/8 inch. And on Wednesday, it rained 3/8 inch. Which number line represents how many inches of rain Mrs. Kinney's class recorded for the week? So remember, first thing we want to do is identify the skill. Well, is this a comparing or is it an adding or subtracting? Well, to me, it looks like an adding or subtracting. I don't see any greater than, less than, or equal to signs, and I don't see the word comparison. So the skill is a add, and I know it's adding because I can look at these number lines and see that they are increasing, not decreasing. So the skill is adding. Next thing I want to do is create a model. So I'm going to create a model right here on the side. And I don't have to go further than 3 because each of these examples in the answers only goes to 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to label this. Then, if I look here, I would look at my denominator to know how many pieces I need to cut each whole number into. And I see that the denominator is 8, so I need 8 pieces. So I like to divide my things in half, and then half again. And then one more half will give me eighths. Because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. That's just a quick way to get a relatively even spaced number line for eighths. The next step would be to count forward each of my fractions. So the first one is 6/8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My first scoop is 6/8. I'm going to label that. You always want to label everything. Then my next one is 1 and 5/8. So that's kind of tricky. And I personally would prefer, so I'm going to write 1 and 5/8 here, but I like to count by eighths, so I'm going to actually change this to a fraction greater than 1. There are 8 eighths in 1, so 8 plus 5 is 13, so 13 eighths. That's what I need to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Put a dot here so I know where I'm jumping to. And then my final one is 3/8. And I've already got this labeled. 1, 2, 3. I like to put a dot just so that I don't forget. So now I can see that and that's 3/8. The other thing I could do is make an equation. That way I know where my ending spot is. 6/8 plus, I'm going to keep my fraction greater than 1 just to make it easier to add. 13/8 plus 3/8. When I do that, I get 6 plus 13 is 19 plus 3 is 22. 22/8. And if I'm going to convert that to a mixed number, I divide 8 into 22. It goes 2 times with 6 left over. Now I can check and see 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my answer is exact. Now it's time for me to check each of my answer choices. My suggestion would be label 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 eighths. I would actually label and check my endings point. I'll let you finish this one on your own. And now I'm going to look at number 10. Mrs. Fickle cut a pie into 6 equal slices. Savannah ate 1/6 of the pie, and Charlotte ate 2/6 of the pie. Which statement describes about how much pie Savannah and Charlotte ate total? And then it says they ate less than a fourth, half of the pie, more than a half. So this one's kind of tricky. What skill am I using? I'm using kind of like almost 2 skills, because I really think I have to add to find out how much they ate in total, but then I have to compare what they ate in total to a comparison statement. So this is really a mix. It's an adding and a comparing. It's an adding and comparing. So the first thing that I want to do is create a model. I'm going to draw a circle and divide this into 6, half, and then if I divide each of my halves into 3 parts, I get 6. Then it says Savannah ate 1. I could put an S in one piece. Charlotte ate 2 6. I'm going to put 2 C's. And so now I can see, and I can write an equation too. 1/6 plus 2/6 equals 3/6. Now I have to think 1/2, 1/4. So my suggestion for this part, since I see 6/4 and halves, I might make myself a bar fraction chart. Half, I'm going to label that 1/2. Fourth, and then sixths. I am going to let you finish it. Once you have your diagrams, you should be able to read through each of these comparisons and pick the answer that matches your comparisons. Good luck. Let's try number 11. Mrs. Dixon, Mrs. Fickle, and Mrs. Thornborough each made a cake. Each cake required different amounts of flour. Mrs. Dixon's cake used 8/3 cups of flour. Mrs. Fickle's cake used 11/4 cup of flour. And Mrs. Thornborough's cake used 7/2 cup of flour. Write 3 true comparisons. So when I'm right there, it tells me what skill I'm using. I am using the skill comparing, because the word comparisons is right here. And that means I need to create a diagram. I need to model the pieces 8/3. So I know that 8/3, like 3 goes into 8 2 times, so I need at least 2 holes. And then I have extra. So I'm going to break these into thirds. So 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3, 5/3, 6/3, 7/3, 8/3. And then I want to label. I always want to label my diagrams. To make this less confusing, I'm just going to make sure I know that this is one hole. So I'm going to change my colors just so I can tell. 2 holes and then a little bit of extra. Next one, Mrs. Fickle. She had 4ths, but I still need to make some of these so I need to make sure that whatever I draw, I can tell the difference between the holes. So this is 4ths. So I'm going to divide these into 4ths. And I'm going to X out 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And label it 11/4. I can already tell that 11/4 is bigger than 8/3. Last one, I'm going to do a different color. Mrs. Thornbrew. She used 7/2. 1, 2, 3. Well, I know 6/2 is 3 holes, so I'm actually going to make 1 extra bar here because I think I'm going to need it. I divide these into halves, and then I'm going to mark 7 of them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I want to label this 7/2. So now I see which one's bigger. I can see what I could do for comparison. So I'm going to actually write a couple of comparisons. 8/3. And I'm going to compare it to 11/4. I'm going to say 7/2 compared to 8/3 and 11/4 compared to 7/2. So now you should be set up to solve this problem. The other thing, I'm just going to circle these numbers because that's important. Mark up my text. Let's give you some hints on number 12. Okay, so let me look at number 12. Reginald ran a race where 0 represents the start and 1 represents the finish line. He had run 5/10 of the race. Which of the following represents the distance Reginald completed? So he's run 5/10 of the race. And which one represents it? So the skill here is representing the fraction in a number line. So that's our skill, to figure out the number line that matches. So the first thing I would do is model. Create my own model. So I have 0 to 1, and my fraction is in tenths. So I need to divide my number line into tenths. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I would label this 5/10 in the middle here, and I would put a dot. Now my line would go from here to here, or from 0 to 5/10. Now, my suggestion would be to go through and label each of these. So this is 1/4. See what I mean? 2/4. So this would be equal to 2/4. So the next step after you've created your model would be to look through the answer choices, label the answer choices, and then pick the correct one, eliminate the ones that are incorrect. Hope this helps you with solving these last parts of your math problems. Good luck. Bye.